Splinter Cell Remake, classic stealth, linear design, the spirit of the original, modernized gameplay, Snowdrop engine. I'll be honest, I want stealth to be smart again, not sit in a bush until the AI goes blind. The intrigue. Can they keep the complexity and tension without turning it into casual nostalgia? Resident Evil Requiem looks like Capcom trying to make a culmination of the latest entries. A new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, an investigation in a ruined raccoon city, and the key feature, switching between first person and third person on the fly, plus automatic camera changes depending on the situation. And here's my personal hype. The series is playing with form again without losing that RE nerve. They also promise Grace isn't as much of a Terminator as Leon or Ethan, which means fear won't live only in the scenery, but in that feeling of helplessness. And yes, the classic unstoppable stalker is always a test. Will it be tension or pure annoyance? If you've played The Blood of Dawn Walker, a dark fantasy RPG from people connected to The Witcher 3. You play a half-vampire with 30 days to save your family, a timer that advances only after quests, and a bold promise. You can kill almost any major character, and it changes the story. Here's my opinion as straightforward as it gets. I love games that aren't afraid to let you break the script. If they truly deliver that kind of replayability, it'll be massive. The intrigue is that ambitious RPGs often crash into reality, budget limits, and the need for serious polish. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag Remake. If it really happens, it needs exactly two things: modern visuals and a rework of the boring, tailing, shadowing missions. That's it. Naval adventures, islands, treasure, sea shanties, timeless. And I'm personally terrified of one thing, that they cram in extra RPG layers for progression. Black Flag is beautiful because it's free and simple. BioShock 4, little official info, but rumors say it may be set in an Antarctic city in the 1960s and connected to previous games. Also, a new studio, Cloud Chamber, with people who worked on the franchise. My take. BioShock is needed not as another shooter, but as an idea-driven world you want to dissect. The intrigue. A long silence always raises eyebrows. Prince of Persia. The Sands of Time remake. A 2000s legend. Parkour, combat, time manipulation, and an Eastern fairy tale vibe. The project went through a restart, which stings, but there's hope they genuinely want to bring the franchise back the right way. I really want this remake to land, because Sands of Time still feels genuinely unique even today. Silent Hill, Townfall. A horror adventure with almost no concrete details. The mystery hangs on a single teaser and the promise of a nightmarish game. It's being made by No Code, a studio that's great at atmosphere and weird, unsettling stories. My opinion, Silent Hill works best when it doesn't try to be an expensive theme park ride. It gets under your skin and leaves a nasty aftertaste. The intrigue is how it connects to the series' lore, and whether it leans into quiet horror instead of turning into a cheap jump scare corridor. Heroes of Might and Magic, Olden Era, a prequel. Early access in 2025, with the full release expected in 2026. Hex grid battles, distinct factions, hot seat mode, and the spirit of Heroes 3. And my inner fan says this: if they nail the balance and that one more turn feeling, it could be the comeback of the decade for the strategy genre. The intrigue? Heroes fans are brutal. They forgive almost nothing. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, Samurai Miyamoto Musashi, Genma Monsters, Kyoto, and visually it looks like Capcom decided to throw a party of steel and dirt. I love that Capcom pulled the franchise out of the shadows. The intrigue. Can they make it not only beautiful, but deep mechanically? The Duskbloods, From Software with Bloodborne vibes, but not a sequel. An experimental PvPvE action game on Switch 2. And my opinion here is mixed. I love From for the solitary journey, and that feeling of, I beat this myself. But I'm wildly curious what happens when their design genius collides with a multiplayer structure. The intrigue? PvPvE could become a new peak, or the most toxic experiment of the year. And yes, this is one of those games people will discuss endlessly even if they don't play. Marvel's Wolverine, a PS5 exclusive by Insomniac. And personally, I'm not waiting for another superhero game. I'm waiting for the tone. Wolverine needs a harsher, more grounded vibe where the claws aren't an effect, they're character. It's known the game isn't about a giant open world, but more compact locations, which can only help pacing. The intrigue is obvious. The project has been quiet for a long time. Details come in drops and hype keeps snowballing. Venom. Not officially announced, but its existence surfaced in leaks, and it sounds like a Miles Morales-style spin-off for 8 to 10 hours. Venom is stronger, heavier, nastier, and if this really is a separate story, it's a chance for a more monstrous gameplay feel. I love the idea of an anti-hero who doesn't move like a spider. He moves like a wrecking ball. The intrigue. Can they make Venom feel truly unique, not just a spider skin? Fable. The return of a series the market genuinely misses. A fairy tale RPG where you don't just save the world, you live in it. Family, business, reputation, consequences. It's being made by Playground Games, masters of racing, not RPGs. And that's my big but. On one side, a fresh perspective. On the other, the risk it ends up beautiful, but shallow. I'm still waiting for it, because the industry has very few games with that kind of warmth and humor. Gears of War, E-Day, a prequel, Emergence Day, young Marcus Fenix, and the iconic Lancer chainsaw rifle entering the canon. My stance is simple. Gears has always been brutality and drama on steroids. If they bring back the feeling of the shock of the first strike and don't turn it into sterile blockbuster gloss, it'll hit hard. Light No Fire. A fantasy sandbox the size of Earth. No story, but exploration, survival, co-op, and the promise you can climb every mountain you can see. My opinion, after Hello Games redeemed No Man's Sky with years of updates, they have trust credit. But still, this is the kind of project where words sound like sci-fi. The intrigue. Will the world feel alive so size doesn't become emptiness? Halo. Campaign Evolved. A remake of Halo's 2001 campaign on Unreal Engine 5, with updated cutscenes, dialogue, slightly improved level design, mechanics like sprint, aiming, plus 3 prequel missions. I love Halo as clean sci-fi. Simple story, huge atmosphere. The intrigue, can they modernize it without breaking the original pace and sense of adventure? Forza Horizon 6, the racing festival in Japan. Narrow streets, mountains, biome variety. My take, Forza Horizon is comfort dopamine, and Japan is one of the most desired settings. The intrigue is small. Just don't fix what isn't broken and overcomplicate the fun. Marvel 1943, Rise of Hydra, Paris 1943, Captain America and Azuri, Black Panther, and Amy Hennig involved. A name that instantly boosts trust in cinematic storytelling. Personally, I'm hoping for a more grounded story without endless superhero fireworks. The intrigue. Can they blend heroics and war drama without that Disney gloss feeling? Exodus, a sci-fi RPG shooter with squad commands and a time theme. Travelers move at extreme speeds and time flows differently for them. Plus, it's made by ex-BioWare people tied to Mass Effect, with big-name voice actors. My opinion, if they hit that big space epic with a heart, it could become a new major RPG franchise. The intrigue. Debut projects often hurt from ambition overload. They need iron discipline. State of Decay 3. Zombie survival where death isn't reload, but switching to another survivor in your community. One of the coolest ideas in the genre because it makes losses real. I want the third game to become the definitive community apocalypse simulator. The intrigue, long silence, and few details, but the potential is huge. Judas, Ken Levine's new game, BioShock creator, with a narrative constructor that builds the story based on your actions. Honestly, I love games that try to be smarter than average, even if they sometimes overdo it. The intrigue is whether choices will feel truly meaningful, not cosmetic. So you're not just picking dialogue, you're shaping your own version of the story. Clockwork Revolution, Steampunk, The City of Avalon, a ruler who suppresses dissent through time travel, and in style promising strong variability, player choice, and branching outcomes. My opinion, this is one of those RPGs that can suddenly steal the show from bigger brands if the reactivity is real. The intrigue is how deep they'll let you break the world, and how far the consequences will actually go. Replaced, alternate 1980s USA after a nuclear catastrophe, an AI trapped in a human body, cyberpunk, pixel art plus modern lighting, a dark story, and Arkham-style fights, as promised. I honestly think this game has a shot at becoming the indie hit everyone talks about, because the visual style already sells the emotion. The intrigue. Can they maintain quality across the whole game, not just in trailers? And now the final question that decides the comments section. If you could choose only one game from these 40, which one would it be? My personal hype list, pure interest only, no fangirl screaming, is GTA 6 as a phenomenon, Pragmata as an experiment, The Blood of Dawn Walker as an ambitious RPG, Splinter Cell Remake as a chance to bring smart stealth back, and Crimson Desert as a potential either legend or disaster. That's it. Write your top 5, and be sure to add which game, in your opinion, is unfairly overlooked and should be in the next part. And in the next video, we can do a top 10 of the projects most likely to get delayed, because that's also a tradition. 2026 is that exact year when a gamer will need 2 resources again: time and iron nerves. Because yeah, it's not only the new GTA. On the horizon, there's a pile of long-announced projects, remakes, sequels, and in almost every entry there's one tiny danger: too good to be true. And that's exactly why this list is so delicious. Let's agree right away. In the comments, write the name of the game you want a separate deep dive on. And here's the question. Straight up, which 2026 game are you waiting for so hard you're ready to cancel sleep? We're starting with the heavy artillery, the kind that either wrecks the year or snaps expectations in half. Pathologic 3 isn't just another more. It's another attempt to make a game that crushes you not with bosses, but with morality and hopelessness. Here, Bachelor Dankovsky ends up in a city consumed by an epidemic, and gets the ability to change events through time travel. And that's what hooks me personally. When a game doesn't hold your hand, but says, here you are, here's the world, here are the consequences, survive. But there's a needle-sharp intrigue. This is an important cult project, and Nikolai Dubovsky, the person who used to be almost the face of the entire idea, isn't involved in development. That cuts both ways. On the one hand, it's a risk of losing that exact nerve. On the other, it's a chance that the team finally makes the game a bit more playable without killing the magic. If it works, it won't be a release. It'll be an event. Nioh 3. This is where you want to scream. Finally. The game promises an open world, 2 styles, samurai and ninja, with on-the-fly switching and combo chains. Nioh has always been about combat as its own art form, stances, techniques, tempo, loot. Like Diablo met a Souls-like and started hitting the gym. And you know what I love most? The series doesn't try to be another Dark Souls. It shamelessly does its own thing. The intrigue is simple. An open world is either a new breath of life or pointless emptiness for scale. But if Team Ninja nails the balance, this could be one of the tastiest combat systems of the year.